Hey Tinkers, it's Mr. Patrick from the Pleasant Hill Library with another project from your Tinker Kit 2023. I hope you've had a good time playing around with your tambourine because it's time to use this embroidery hoop for what it was originally intended for, and that is embroidery. So, what do you need? You need an empty embroidery hoop, you need that needle, which maybe you left stuck taped to the lid of your tinker box. Be careful with that one, it's a bit pokey. And you are also going to need some embroidery thread or embroidery floss. Be aware that there is some cotton string inside of your kit, and this really isn't intended for embroidery. I mean, I suppose you could, but what you're really looking for is this bundle right here and this delicate glow-in-the-dark floss that you can use to make a cool stitch design that will actually light up in the dark. So, we didn't include a cloth to embroider on. We encourage you, with your grown-ups' permission, to maybe dig out a pair of jeans, or you've got a jacket or a tote maybe lying around the house that you could stitch into. I really encourage you to find something that has a nice dark color to it so that your glow-in-the-dark embroidery will stand out. Here's one that I made based on, what constellation is that? Do you know it? It's the Big Dipper. Yeah, that's right, the Big Dipper. And you can see very simple stitches. Won't take you too long, and you have just enough embroidery floss to do it, all right? Or you can get more elaborate and use whatever color bundle embroidery floss is in your kit to come up with something else. Anyway, these are just ideas, but get stitching. So a couple tips for getting started with your embroidery is think through the kind of fabric that you're stitching on. Make sure it's not too flexible, like a t-shirt can be really frustrating. I like a nice canvas or jean. If it's a super thick fabric though, you might find it to be really challenging. So something in between, a little lighter, can be friendlier for the novice embroiderer. I also want to recommend that you pay attention to how your embroidery hoop is positioned on your fabric. If it's hard to get into, like up a pant leg, you're going to be struggling the whole time. So find a good spot where you can get your hand in behind and in front of the embroidery hoop. And the third thing I'll mention is just that tension is really important, right? How tightly you pull the string through the fabric, and also how taut the surface of your fabric is. So make sure that this is nice and tight, and it's kind of pulled. There's no wrinkles around the edge. And you can do this as you embroider to continue to tighten it up and make sure the surface is nice and straight. As you go about creating your first embroidery design, I want to encourage you to slow it down. Take your time. Find the patience to really enjoy it. All right? Embroidery can be really frustrating at first. If you're new to something, right, it can be aggravating. Even just threading the needle for the first time can be a little frustrating. Or tying a small knot to finish off a design. Sometimes my fingers just feel like they're enormous. So try not to get too upset and take a break if you need to. I really find it's something that pays off by slowing it down. Well, good luck on your embroidery. I hope you'll share it with me in the future. I'll see you in the next video, Tinker.